everyone's a bit on the spectrum. Have you heard people say that before? Heck, maybe it's even you that said it. In this video, I want to challenge that sentence slightly in a autism affirming, friendly way. So I think there are two groups of people that say this. One group are actively against labels, medicalisation. They might even not believe in autism. And I think the other group are either naive or they've actually got quite a positive motivation in saying everybody's a bit on the spectrum. To the first group, the non-believers, I don't know if there's a lot more I can say. We're kind of at a crossroad with me saying that autism is very much real, a spectrum condition unique for every single person, and with a belief that you don't believe in it, it's very difficult for me to progress. So all I can really say is thank you so much for watching so far. It's great to have you on this video, to hear you being open to finding out more about autistic experience, and that's just wonderful. Whether you believe in autism or not, great that you're here, and I hope that just in finding out more about autism that it can really enhance your empathy for people who are autistic. This second group I described as either naive or maybe even having positive reasons for thinking that everyone's a little bit autistic. And when I talk about positive reasons, I wonder if you're just trying to connect with somebody when they are telling you about their autistic experience. For example, someone might talk about the importance of routine, or they may talk about sensory sensitivities, or having difficulty communicating with other people. And you might relate to that for a whole host of reasons, which makes you think, you know what, I'm not autistic, but I relate to that, so maybe I'm a bit on the spectrum as well. And I think it might even be well-meaning. You're just trying to connect with somebody and to show your experiencing resonating with theirs, maybe even to normalize it and help somebody to feel more settled in your presence. An autism diagnosis is also looking at a number of diagnostic interviews and observations by professionals, and those will be graded and measured, needing those certain parts of an autistic profile to be at certain thresholds to lead to diagnosis. And at this point, I would love to plug a blog post I have written, How Your Autism Affects You, which goes into a lot of detail around the different parts of autism, and there's also a very handy questionnaire you can fill in alongside it, which can talk more about autism. And if you're a neurotypical person and you fill that in, there will be parts of it that resonate with you. But the fact that some of those symptoms resonate doesn't mean that you are autistic. I have noticed up until now I've been trying to use identity first language, trying to say are autistic rather than saying has autism. I've talked about autism as a condition, really as a way of combating the word disorder that gripes me a little bit. And you might think to yourself that that's quite defining, that's quite big to say somebody is autistic. You may feel bad, for example, if you were to say somebody is depressed. They have depression. But neurotypes are different. We're not talking about a condition that somebody has. If that condition was gone, their whole person, their whole personality, their whole character would change. So rather than saying somebody has a neurotype like ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, autism, we say they are neurodiverse, they are autistic. Autism's a neurotype. It's not something you catch, not a condition that develops. It's fundamentally having different wiring in the brain. You're born with it. And these same diagnostic tests I discussed earlier, they need to be present from childhood. You can't become autistic. You are autistic or you're not. In the same way with other neurodivergent neurodiversities, you have that neurodiversity and fit the kind of threshold for it, or you're not. So we can't be a little bit autistic. We are or we're not. It's the same thing with neurotypical, with that identity first language is difficult. You wouldn't say to somebody, I have neurotypical, or I think I'm developing neurotypical. You are neurotypical. It informs your whole being. That's you. And that's why identity first language is used. And actually why words like everyone's a little bit on the spectrum, or everyone's a little bit autistic, can be quite dismissive of people. It would be like someone saying, everyone's a little bit neurotypical. Kind of diminish your identity. And this is actually the biggest reason to avoid saying everyone's a little bit autistic. Because by saying that, it denies people the struggles that come with being autistic in a neurotypical world. Life is difficult adapting for every autist, and pretending their experience isn't real just forces them to mask more, which is exhausting. It invalidates actual real support needs. And worst of all, it fuels that self-blame that autists often feel of not being good enough. Maybe I'm just not trying, maybe I'm not quite getting it right, maybe I am defective. It fuels those thoughts if the narrative goes round that everyone's a bit autistic. They're not. People's support needs are real. So this has been a slightly quicker than normal video. I do appreciate you watching, and feel free to put any comments or thoughts in the description, bearing in mind that it's out in the public domain and being aware of confidentiality. Do feel free to check out any of my other videos, and you can follow the link I've stuck up on the screen if you want to check out my website, including the article on autism. One day I might turn it into a video, it's quite long. My hope is that, quite simply, after watching this, that you'll be fascinated to know more about people who think and process the world differently to you, to accept the words they use, to affirm them, and to make the world a safer place. And a really simple way we can do that is in avoiding phrases like everyone's autistic, or in using identity first language. Let's not deny or minimize autists' experience, and instead let's be fascinated and accepting of them.